through 3 hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
All right, after show time. Jim Kinsey, Michelle Cleland, hello.
Hola.
Hello, sir.
Ah, man, I really got myself into a thing yesterday. I'm telling you, I got home, I want to turn on the game, watching a little football. Pat says, "Are you going to make it to halftime?" I said, "Nope, I'm going to bed right now."
Worked you out, huh?
Oh,
Tough
man.
week, huh?
It was just all day. You're out there in the sun, and I mean, it was great. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. I learned. I shot a lot. I embarrassed myself. Just going, not with safety stuff, but just going, I want to be better at this. And these guys really challenged me. It's kind of like, okay, you want to do this stuff? We're going to use itty-bitty targets, and we're going to get back at the 25-yard line. Now let's see what you got. And you're going, well, I'm going to have to work on this. So it was fun.
See, you weren't in front of anybody to be embarrassed, so it's okay, Tom.
Yeah, I was. I was in front of two instructors, and it was embarrassing. I mean, trust me, they're really, really good. You don't get to be a U.S. Navy SEAL or the head of your SWAT firearms training unit in a really big sheriff's department somewhere without being pretty darn good.
You do if you're sitting at a bar lined a bunch of guys.
What's the old deal? Says, how do you know that a guy in a bar is a SEAL? Oh, he'll tell you.
Right.
It was fun, though. It really was great. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned, I'm going to go back. This guy is a real student, one of the guys, real student of the AK. He does a full day class with history and shooting and maintenance and everything else of AKs. He said, oh, yeah, everybody thinks they're junk. He says, we'll have you hitting steel at 300 yards with your AK.
Wow.
Went, okay, I got to take that class. That sounds like fun. So there you go.
Does that mean a new rifle, or do you already have one?
I don't, but see, that's an excuse to get a new rifle.
I see your ways.
You don't have an AK, Tom. Come on, I'm ashamed of you.
I don't. There are millions of them, and I keep expecting one to just kind of fall off a truck somewhere.
You have an SKS, though, right?
I do not.
You don't have an SKS?
No.
Wow.
No, so I need to get trained up, and of course I need to buy one, but and I've said for years, everybody needs to know how to run an AK, because if you travel around the world, that is the gun you're most likely to run across in a pickup somewhere. Right. Something's going on.
Right.
So anyway, that'll be fun. Hey, let me get to these guys who are on hold because they've been very patient with us. Bill is in Waco, Texas with a range report for us. Hey, Bill, you made it to the after show. How are you?
I'm doing well. Great. Good. And I was listening a while ago. You talked about the instructors waving the muzzle across the students.
Yeah.
When I teach a novice to handle a gun, we'll go to a table where I have a little range set up, and I won't tell them, but I'll have the muzzle of the rifle tied with a light string to the other side of the table.
Oh.
And when they pick it up, about the time they'll shoot, I'll ask them a question. And 99% of them will turn and they hit the end of that string. Then they realize what they were about to do.
I have never heard of that. Did you come up with that?
Yes.
That's a great idea.
Jim Kinsey, I'm tagging you in this.
I'll use that.
Another thing we did when I was teaching my boys to shoot, we would set up two posts with about 100 feet of string and tie a can in it and slide the can back and forth, so they had to learn to shoot at a moving target in a good environment.
When I was a kid, we hung a tin can by string from a limb, and it was in front of a lake, and we're shooting BB guns, so there's not much power here, right? And so the BB's not going to go very fast, and you hit it, and now it started swinging. It's swinging all over the place. But the cool part was the tree was right by the water, so you could see the BB splash into the water and get an idea of where you missed. Because it's the whole deal of, when you hit something, they say to hit is history and to miss is mystery. I don't know where I went. So it's helpful to know where you missed.
Yeah, and with the archery, we're not archers, but we mess around with it some. We would use like a 25-pound pull bow or a 15. And that way you can watch the arrow go and see the arrow in flight.
Yep. Well, I love the idea of the string on the rifle, and so you kind of, when they start to turn around and it goes bang, they go, oh, yeah, okay, that's what you mean by keeping the muzzle pointed downrange.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, Bill.
That works awesome.
Consider that stolen, okay?
I sure will.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Anthony is with us out of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm sorry, I went the wrong one. That's Jack, actually. It's in Medford, Oregon. Hey, Jack, welcome.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
I am great. Actually, I was yakking on the Medford station earlier this week. Did an interview there. So.
Yes, sir. I heard you talking to Bill Meyer.
Yeah, exactly. We had a good time.
Yeah, I listen to you all the time. Hey, one thing before I ask you my question. That AK-47, prior to me deploying to Afghanistan and Iraq in 2010, we got to go through a little course that the government put us through.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, once you figure out, you know, the muzzle on the AK's got a little slanted cut on it, right?
Right.
Well, the hardest thing to figure out is after you shoot one and your recoil has come back on target. But I'll tell you what, they had us hitting at 300 yards with an AK open sight.
Wow. After you did that course, did it really increase your appreciation for that firearm?
Oh my God, you know, it's indestructible. It's probably, I'd say, one of the better combat arms you could ever want to go into a war with. But we got to go through Haji Town and do the whole 9 yards, you know, and that was, you know, that's like Disneyland for a guy that likes to shoot.
Every time they build one of these shoot towns somewhere, and whether they call it Hogan's Alley or Western Town or whatever, you know, it is fun. And the reason it's fun, Jack, is because it's challenging. You're having to think while you're moving, right?
That's exactly right. If you're in a car and somebody's going to come after you or whatever they have us doing, it makes you think. And the question I wanted to ask you was, I'm trying to figure out a lighter carry, you know, a secondary carry weapon for my wife and the Bond arms. And you probably talked about it and I missed a show or something, but, you know, I was thinking about getting her a 9mm or 38 barrel for Bond arms for her to shoot.
Have you
what do you
shot
think about that?
Have you shot the Bond arms derringers?
No, I haven't.
Michelle, you shot them, or do you have any experience with those?
I've not shot them. I don't particularly want to shoot them.
Well, I'm just going to say...
We've sold them.
Yeah. Everybody knows I'm not a real fan of derringers, basically. The Bond arms is a much better design for a derringer. But here, if you haven't picked one up, Jack, they're not small and they're not light at all.
They're heavy.
They're big and heavy.
I picked them up. I've handled them, you know, and I think I would like one.
You might, but what I'm thinking is, so first of all, is this for you or for your wife?
That's for the wife. She's got a Smith & Wesson Shield, and she shoots with her 30-06, and she knows guns, and she shoots, and she's a pretty daggone good shot. So
does she want to carry a second gun?
She's been thinking about it. Yeah, that's why I brought it up. And I just think she.
What about? This is going to sound. I'm just thinking an LCP. If you want something really small, and we've got really good 380 ammo these days.
Or bodyguard even.
Or the bodyguard. If you want to stay with Smith & Wesson, you can certainly do that. And just go downsize from the 9, because I like the choice of the Shield. Don't get me wrong. I think the Shield 9mm is a really good choice.
That's what you got her. That's what you got her concealed carry with.
Yeah, I mean that's a good choice. If you went with I'm trying to think, what would be, guys, an even smaller but still stay in 9? Glock 43.
Oh, it's going to be slightly smaller.
Yeah, it's not a lot smaller. You really got to go down to the LCP to get something
maybe
much smaller.
Like a 938 would be a little bit smaller.
Ooh, yeah, the SIG. Yes, yes, very nice
SIG
pistol.
would be a good weapon.
Yeah,
that's a good choice. I like that, Michelle.
Yeah.
So I'll take her out and let her shoot one and see what she thinks. All
right, but here's the thing. Let's talk about this for a second. If she's shooting a Shield now, she has the model without the thumb safety or with?
With.
Okay, that's for transition. That's a good thing because on the SIG, she's going to have a thumb safety there. I would a little bit concerned. I'd be a little bit concerned about moving from a gun without a safety to a gun with a safety.
Right.
In the heat of all the action. If that makes
muscle memory and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. Question for you: does she carry a spare magazine?
Yes, sir. She keeps that right. She keeps both of them in her purse. You got one of them purses with the concealed carry pocket on the outside.
Right.
And then on the other side, she's got her spare magazine.
Okay, I kind of like that. I'm not a real huge fan of purse carry, but I'm realistic about, I don't know, for the most part, it's just difficult. And we talked about this, Michelle. It's just difficult for women to find a place to carry.
It is, yes, and especially
it is, yeah.
I mean, depending on your weather and the type of work and everything else that you do, all that plays a role in it. But it's harder for women than it is for men. For sure.
I'm thinking, how about conceal carry beehive hairdo?
Bring back the beehive.
Yeah, this way, their secondary conceal could be something she could carry on her, and that LCP would probably be perfect as small. And she's tried the bands before, and all that.
I was just going to say the belly band. They make tactical shirts, T-shirts, and stuff like that, too, that work out really well. And depending on how she dresses, I mean, you end up changing your dress. But
well, think about this. If she's tried the bands, but she tried with her shield, but she tried one with an LCP, that might be a decent way to carry your backup gun, because you don't want it in the purse.
Right.
You got to have it in a different place. And I'm thinking maybe a belly band with an LCP would be almost unnoticeable.
Right. And during our concealed carry class that she took, he had he probably had 10, 15 different types of holsters and belly bands and tactical shirts to show the women what was available. So that's a good idea.
What about the Hellcat, Tom, versus a LCP? If you compare those two,
well, the Hellcat is about the same size as the P365.
Right.
So it's not very much smaller than a shield. I mean, you're really not dropping down much. If you want something really smaller and lighter as your backup gun.
Okay. I'm looking at the size difference in there.
The Hellcat is very nice, don't get me wrong, and I like it, but it is a P365 size. It's that category.
Right.
The LCP is another drop down in size and weight.
Yeah, the LCP is an inch shorter, but give up that inch, boy.
It's smart too to some extent, as long as she and believe me, the recoil on a SIG with a 938 is very appealing, because it works so well, just the style of the gun, and staying in the same caliber is smart.
I do like the staying in the same caliber. I don't know. We're going to have to think about this. I would say keep looking. And the other thing is going to be, Jack, is trying to find a place where she can shoot this backup gun, because as you get smaller, they get more difficult to shoot and, frankly, less fun. And so she's really going to have to find something that she's okay with.
I got 30 acres here on the north side of Lower Table Rock, so we can just shoot just about anywhere we want to.
Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
I was going to say, getting into any of those smallers, you're going to end up into a 1911 style gun. The Kimber Micros, the SIG 938s, all of those are going to be that style, but they're really not bad as far as recoil in a 9mm.
No, they're
not. How are they to rack the slide?
Well, there's that.
Right.
Yeah. If you're willing to drop down to 380, though, they become real easy. I'm looking now, guys. I'm on the Smith & Wesson website. That M&P Bodyguard is pretty small. It's pretty darn nice, actually. What I really like is the one with the Crimson Trace green laser on it. Because
that's what she's got on her on her shield now. Is the Crimson Trace.
Yeah, because now the short sight radius doesn't matter at all.
Right.
You just put the dot on the threat, and I would go to have her take a look at that M&P, because now you're staying within the same family, and they have them with thumb safeties and without thumb safeties on the M&Ps, the Bodyguard. So you could see which one she likes. Yeah, interesting idea, but very cool. And look, if you think the Bond is something that she ought to look at least go have her try it. But I think you're going to find it is bigger and heavier than what you're looking for here. And also, obviously, you only have 2 shots.
Right. How many rounds does the LCP or the Bond hold?
I think it's 5 plus 1.
Yeah, I was going to say 6.
5 plus
6,
1?
Yeah.
That's a lot better than 2.
That would be like 400% more or something like
bunch.
that. Yeah.
It'd be a bunch
more.
I did the math.
I'm not good on math, so it would be like 4 more, okay?
Yeah. Hey, Tom, thank you very much.
All righty. You take care, Jack. You guys be safe out there. Yeah, interesting ideas. We're always trying to come up with what is the right system, and as I was discovering yesterday, the stuff I was carrying is fine for some things, but when you said, okay, I need you to make the equivalent of a 50-yard shot with your carry gun. You go, easy to carry, not so easy to make that shot with. The other thing I quickly came to grips with was the factory trigger on an AR does not lend itself to real precision shooting.
Right.
You know, whether you put a Timney in there or a Geisley or something. I've got a Timney right here that's going to go in an AR right off the bat because I always like the Timneys anyway. And look, don't get me wrong, the Geisleys are wonderful. They make great triggers. But that would be one of the ways, I'm thinking, Michelle, if you wanted to start to upgrade whatever AR you have, the first thing to do would be to swap the trigger out.
Start with the trigger.
Yeah. You know, but in the past few years, there's been some manufacturers coming out with decent triggers on a stock AR, surprisingly.
They are decent, but I will tell you, I don't know, once you start shooting one of these others.
Right. I'm just saying
like
that they're so competitive that they're trying to do little things here and there, and triggers are one thing that have gotten better on a stock, on some manufacturers.
All right, we're going to run to a break. Before we do, I'm going to throw this thought out for people to consider. What's going to happen to AR sales? Right now, you can buy them at stupid low prices. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen if we get close to the election and it looks like there's a real good chance that Trump loses? I think we go back to, was it 2016 when things went crazy? I don't think that is crazy to think about. I think it's a possibility. So for all of you who are looking at these really great deals that your local gun store has right now.
I'll wait a year.
And walking past, yes, and saying, yeah, I got to do that. You're going to turn around one day and go, holy cow, they all just went up $300. Yes. If you're lucky, it'll only be $300.
Well, remember, the ARs are going for $1,500.
$1,500 for a gun that you can buy today at $600 or $700.
And if you're real geeky, you can build your own.
There is that. Well,
I would expect them to go to break if you keep throwing up these new points, Michelle. Jeez.
I tell you what, Michelle, we're going to go to break. You keep talking.
That's normal. So many ways about the AR.
When the U.S. military's elite units and law enforcement agencies across the globe demanded innovation and reliability, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. When world champion professional shooters demanded precision accuracy, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. So it's no surprise more and more civilian gun owners are refusing to settle for anything less. They're choosing Sig Sauer firearms, ammunition, electro-optics, suppressors, air guns, and training. Sig Sauer. Never settle.
Visit guntalk.com/win for your chance to win the Fall-A-Day giveaway. Grand prize package includes a gun safe, a 9mm handgun, a .308 rifle, a thermal rifle scope, a package of holsters, and a shooting system for training. Plus, 3 first prize packages. Prizes provided by Alien Gear Holsters, ATN Optics, Federal Premium Ammunition, Liberty Safe, Mantis, and Ruger. Enter now through December 13th at guntalk.com/win.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. shopguntalk.com.
Smith & Wesson announces a new rebate for the popular M&P 9 Shield and M&P 380 Shield EZ pistols. Qualifying purchases made between October 14th and December 8th are eligible for a $50 prepaid card. Terms and conditions apply. Visit smith-wesson.com/shield 2019 for complete details. More than 3 million people have chosen the M&P Shield family of pistols for their personal protection needs. Shouldn't you?
Is she still talking?
I don't know. I've never listened from day one.
No, I needed some water. I'm sorry, I'm back.
You had to actually take a breath. Yeah, we're sorry you're back, too. Did we say that?
You think you're sorry you're back? Yeah.
Oh, that was not nice.
But we have a reputation to keep up.
This is true.
We said about continuity.
That's right. I got friends in low places.
Right.
There we go. Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. So I'm just thinking about this class and this. It was really interesting to get exposed to a different set of instructors, and we had a caller earlier today who says he's been to a lot of classes. He tries to go to several classes a year. I know you can get to be kind of a shooting class geek, but even if you're taking one a year, it's a really good performance. Well, what it is, it's a refresher. You go there and you go, yeah, I'm not nearly as good as my ego thought I was.
But if you take too many classes, they can become contradictory, so you got to be careful too.
Well, there's that, but I think what happens is after a certain point, you get to where you can pick and choose what you will actually take away,
and what works for you versus somebody else.
Well, it's true, but but what you should do if you go to a class and they're teaching something that's really different from what you've done before, go ahead and try it the new way.
Really, yeah.
Give it a try. Go, okay. At the end, you may not want to use it, but you should at least try it because you're right there with somebody who is, setting this forward as a thing to try, and that person can teach you, he or she can help you out. It may be one of those that at first it feels weird and awkward and I don't get it, and then after a while you're going, oh, okay. I like that. That makes sense.
Well, that's really the ultimate thing that you're taking away from this, right? The maneuverability of it all.
Yeah, and trying to find what they're teaching can I incorporate? Because, look, we got guys who are 25 and 35 years younger than I am teaching this class. Mm-hmm. I can't do what they do. I physically can't do what they do.
Sure.
All right? But then again, as I mentioned off the air, they look at me bending over to pick up mags, and they're going, well, he can't do what we can do.
But we may have found our new mag reloader.
Says, hang on a minute. He's going to pick up mags. We'll be starting again in a couple of minutes here. I'll be right with you, fellers. Because, of course, in these processes, you're leaving a trail of mags because about half of what you do is these malfunction drills, right? Mm-hmm. So you do a tap rack and you're yanking mags out and you're dropping them on the ground and kicking brushing the dust off of them and sticking them back in your gun. You just do that over and over again with both the pistols and the ARs.
Yeah, you definitely get intimate with it.
Well, you do. And, you should be able to do all of that while you are moving to cover. Mm-hmm. You should not have to think about the process. And the only way you get there is to do it over and over again. And to do it more than just in the class, do it later.
Sure, but muscle memory takes over, and then all you have to worry about is the fundamental of your shooting.
And there are more buttons and levers on an AR than there are on a pistol.
Oh, yeah.
So you have more things to master. Just, what's the process of,
But what's your dust cover look like?
It's dusty.
Yep, dusty.
I did ask. In fact, I noticed that one of the AR instructor, every time he operated it, he closed his dust cover. And I said, I noticed that you do that every time. He says, oh yeah. He says, I don't want junk getting in there. He says, that's what it's for. He says, the other night we were out, we had a homicide, guy we were after, and one of the officers. He fell down in the mud. His rifle went down, clunk in the mud, covered with junk. Mm. And he says, I don't want all that mud inside my gun. He says, so when he does any kind of shooting, the next thing he does, safety comes off, and he closes the dust cover. That's just an automatic move he does. And I see very few people who do that at the range.
Mm-hmm. I never thought about that,
right.
to be honest with you.
Yeah. And you think, well, that's probably why they put it on there in the first place. I'm thinking
How
Vietnam, mud, gunk, all the rest of that. Yep. That kind of makes some sense here.
Yep.
Also got a little lesson in gun cleaning. So we're working our ways through that with some, I don't know what it is. Maybe the AR just has more doodads that you can get for it, whether it's cleaning stuff or things you attach to it.
For sure.
But,
air conditioning, microwaves.
Cup holders.
Yeah. Full duty gun.
That's right. Whatever. But it makes it fun. And now he's shooting an SBR with a can on it because he says that's what we're issued. But what was interesting is his had a 12.5-inch barrel. He says, yeah, some of these have like 7-inch barrels on these SBRs. He says, you're just giving up too much velocity with the 223. He said, if you got to shoot something at 300 yards, the drop is significant. And we compared his. I have a 16-inch barrel on mine. He had a 12.5 on his. And at 300 yards, we were both sighted in at 25. At 300 yards, his was hitting about 6 inches lower than mine.
Wow.
Just from the lower velocity.
But yours is louder.
Mine is definitely louder. Well, I'm sorry, what'd you say? Yeah.
Pardon me?
But it was interesting. He says, this is what I'm issued. He says, but if I were going to pick my rifle for me, it would be what you're carrying. It wouldn't have all this junk on it because he's got night vision, lasers, and all the stuff they have to have for that.
Right.
He said, I would take a rifle just like yours, basically a red dot, maybe a light on it, 16-inch barrel, and just go. Now, you do have to understand, for those who are thinking, oh, yeah, okay, fine. This is a guy, and for us in this part of the world, we think about this all the time. We really do think about go bags and, if stuff hits the fan because we've been through Katrina. And this is a guy who worked Katrina. Seeing the stuff that he saw, and I don't even know if I can describe to you some of the stuff. Well, no, I can't describe that. There's some things you just don't describe. But when the power goes out, everything goes down, you might actually want to have a way to carry extra mags and have stuff on you and have a rifle with a sling, with a red dot that's the real deal because, yeah, it gets that nasty. It gets that nasty almost instantly. When the veneer of civilization gets peeled off. Yeah,
we had a water crisis here a couple of years ago, and crime rate spiked in a day and a half.
Really?
Yeah, just for water. Obviously water's important, but
sure,
we had some major safety issues because of the water scare. People were starting to freak out. And
now, I don't know if you guys remember the riots in L.A. after the Rodney King deal. And the rioters were coming through the streets, and they were burning businesses. And
not so much the Korean businesses.
I was just going to say, not the Korean businesses, because the Koreans all had ARs or AKs, either in front of their buildings or they went up and got on top of their buildings, and they were there with them, and they were certainly willing to shoot these guys. And it was fascinating. The building would burn, the next one would be burned, and then there'd be one that'd be protected by the Koreans, and they would just walk right by it and burn the next one.
Yeah.
There it is. And I'm not sure that standing there with a handgun would have had the same impact. I think probably not. So I really firmly believe that a good rifle, and in this case, an AR platform is my preferred choice, should be part of your package, your full security package. And of course, obviously knowing how to use it. And all I've done right now is stuck my toe into the waters. I need a lot more work with those things.
Well, now you've rekindled my interest in my 300 blackout, which I kind of shelved.
Oh, the 300 blackout is so much fun. Do you have a can for it yet?
I do not, sir.
You need to just go ahead and look. If you put in the paperwork, you'll have it in a year.
Yeah, maybe by summer. I've heard lately they've got it down to like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, it could be.
Return time,
yeah. If you find a place that can do the electronic stuff. Michelle, do you guys do NFA stuff?
Yes.
Okay. And you're doing electronic forms?
I believe so,
Probably.
yes.
Almost everybody is now.
Yeah.
If you find a place that's not doing electronic forms, go somewhere else.
Actually, I know they are.
It speeds up the process significantly. So, yeah, I mean, 6, 8
Can you
months.
give me directions to your place?
Yeah, go out your drive, take a right.
And you're there.
No, the problem is Jim's car knows the way.
Right.
It's not
like
even
a
a
horse.
Tesla. Just
let
knows
go of the reins and it will go there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, gosh. But, seriously, I mean, and it's actually a good time to buy suppressors. Prices are good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the price of the stamps always will be the same. Big deal. So what?
Right.
And once you do it, it's just done, and you will have that. And once you start shooting suppressed, it's hard to go back. You're thinking, why would I do that?
I've heard that from a lot of people.
Yes,
That
exactly.
shoot suppress. Oh,
Can you put a suppressor on him?
put a can on that guy.
That's right. Put a cork in it.
Do you have a threaded neck by any chance, Jim?
We can do that for you too while you're here. Oh, we can also give you a beehive.
Perfect.
He's got the hair for it.
He's got the hair for
I
it.
do
That's
have the
right.
hair for that.
You could do a concealed carry bee. I'm telling you, there's something here.
I'm working on it.
I'm not saying it's good, but there's something here.
How much hair you lose in the process of pulling your firearm out of the beehive.
And if you have an ND up there, you could set your hair on fire.
Nice. There's a visual.
Oh, there's this. You're going down the street with your hair on fire. There it is, right there.
Nice stage show. No.
No. But it's distracting to the bad guys when you set your hair on fire. So there you go. Oh, yeah, boy.
Always with the pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So what have you guys been up to?
Well, let's see. We had, I guess over the last 2 weeks, we've had Springfield Armory was into the store and it was able to shoot the Hellcat.
Oh,
that was fascinating. That's a great pistol.
You suck.
It is.
You suck.
It's and for people to know, it's a small light 9, so it's going to have some recoil.
It's a micro compact, and 3-inch pistol. I mean, I normally don't.
Send them the pictures, Michelle, your targets.
Oh, no.
Everyone else does.
Did you shoot well?
So here's the funny story. It was our sales rep's pistol, and he's like, "Have you shot it?" I'm like, "No, I haven't shot it." He's like, "Here," takes his mag out, gives me his pistol, and I put some range ammo in it and go out to the range and.
Iron sights or red dot?
No, iron sights. And one of the other gentlemen at the store comes out with me because he wants to shoot it too. And ladies first, no, I had the gun, so I put my target out.
Yeah.
I put my target out and shot, and man, all of them were in this nice little cluster, all touching.
Yeah.
And I bring my target back, and he's like,
Did he not shoot?
So no, he proceeded to shoot, and we go back out, and I take my target to the sales rep, and he's like, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "No." He's like, "Well, I need a picture of that."
Oh.
He's like, "No one that I have handed this pistol to has shot a group like that." So he took a picture and sent it to Springfield Armory.
Oh, wow.
So very funny. But anyways, I got to shoot that. And then, of course...
So they're going to start making that in a 327?
And lever action.
Right. Yeah. Lever action pistol.
Hell Kitty.
It's not Hello Kitty, it's Hell Kitty.
Hell Kitty.
Say, hell no.
And then we had SIG into the store, and so shot the new SAS.
Oh, I'd love to get your impression of that, because that is so different.
It's very different. I would say it's difficult for an everyday carry. It would be a difficult everyday carry gun for me right off the bat, because you really have to spend some time getting intimate with that sight picture.
You really would, because you're looking for the iron sights, and you're going, who took my iron sights off?
And it's really a matter of changing the position of how you hold it, because the sights, there's no profile.
They're in the back of the slide.
Yeah. So I found that to be interesting. The 365, I don't know. It's just always a great
It's
shooter.
just a good pistol.
It is.
And your cluster was just as tight with that.
Yeah. And so, which one do you want? I don't know. Do you like Ford? Do you like Chevy? You want a Hellcat, you want a 365. The sights are quite different on the Hellcat, obviously. It's got that little back U with the green front sight, and it's very easy to find that sight picture.
Don't say back U to him.
Yeah, it is a very different sight picture, and the P365 has night sights.
Yep.
Comes standard with night sights.
Yep. So that just weigh what you want in the whole process. But yeah, they were fascinating.
And we've got all these new guns coming out, and now I really am interested in going to a red dot on my carry gun. Everybody, all the competitive shooters, if you give them a choice, they're going to go red dot. It's just faster. It's faster acquisition. But kind of like you're talking about with the SAS, with the weird different sighting system, you have to practice with it. Otherwise, you're going to be coming up and holding it at the wrong angle.
Yep.
And in the case of red dot, you're not going to be able to see the dot. You got to be able to draw your gun, bring it up, mirror your hands up your chest, and then press it out directly forward so you can pick up that dot. You can't just bring it up and swing it up.
Nope.
Kind of force you to have a good draw that way.
And it's definitely a patience factor. I mean, obviously, I wasn't going to tie up the pistol so our consumers couldn't have the opportunity to shoot it. But the recoil is completely different on that gun than the standard 365 because everything is lightened up and narrowed and everything. So, but it's still manageable. But
it's a specialized gun, don't you think?
It is, absolutely.
If you need deep carry, if you want to carry in a pocket, it has no protrusions. It's smooth all the way around.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know what? That wouldn't be a bad backup gun. Thinking about it here, if you were okay with the size, you could put that into a belly band or something where, because you have no edges, no corners on it. Be pretty interesting. I don't know, just kind of thinking out loud of, how do you position it? Where would it fall within? How would you use it, kind of a thing?
Ankle, beehive, whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
All the same.
That's right. And there are more on the way.
Oh, of course there are.
Oh, God, these companies are going crazy turning out guns.
Tom's parents named his middle name was NDA.
That's right.
I just called him that.
Oh, I haven't even told you guys about... Oh, yeah, I can't tell you about that either.
No.
Shot on Monday. We'll be blowing out video of that. Oh, man. There's just so much cool stuff coming out. New calibers, new guns, rifles, handguns. Haven't seen a new shotgun yet, but... Tomorrow I go to Gunsight for the week for a new product introduction, and I don't know what it is. That's interesting. I really don't have any idea. So we will just show up, and somebody's going to show us something new.
Can you discuss the manufacturer or no?
I don't know if they want me to or not. So I probably shouldn't.
Because I always thought John's Gun Company made a great gun.
That's right. Way back, you could actually get guns made with your name on them as the manufacturer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You could order like 50 of them, which makes it really difficult, some of those old double-barrel shotguns, to track. I've got a Jackson Brothers double-barrel. Really? That's because there was a Jackson Brothers hardware store.
Right.
That ordered 50 of them and had them marked for them.
Yep. That's kind of cool, though.
It is. It's got an interesting piece of history, but it makes tracking down some of those old guns really difficult. So, anyway.
All
right. So, ARs, AKs, more pistols, more stuff. And, by the way, if you're not buying ammo these days, you're out of your mind. The prices are so good. I don't think they can go any lower. And I am starting my monthly acquisition. I ran some numbers. There are some deals out there, Michelle, that the manufacturers doing these promotions on ammo, particularly like rimfire stuff. I'm sure you guys get all that. It's crazy prices, some of this stuff.
Well, and a lot of it anymore, there's so many consumer rebates available on top of the firearm rebates that are out there.
True.
There's ammunition rebates that are out there too. Federal CCI, they do a lot of consumer rebates.
They do. We're talking about getting rimfire ammo down somewhere in the less than 5 cents a round range now.
Get back to Plinkin.
Get back to Plinkin, or if I'm just thinking everybody ought to have 10,000 rounds, just because. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It's not really that expensive.
That's an arsenal, Tom.
He needs special permits.
And your point is?
I love when you see a news report. He had over 500 rounds of ammunition in his home.
And 3 firearms. You're going, okay, you know what we call that? A good start.
Yeah.
and nothing more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, boy. Well, okay. Let's see. I'll be back next week, being unable to tell you what I did for the week.
Great. Look forward to not hearing that.
That's going to be great.
So we should just bleep this section out.
Yeah. Did you hear what Tom didn't say about the...
No, I must have missed it.
And for the old timers, we will call it the Rosemary Woods Missing 18 Minutes.
Rosemary Woods?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay. Uh-oh. Teach me.
In the Nixon tapes, Rosemary Woods was the secretary, and they were recording in the Oval Office.
Okay.
And on one of the critical tapes, there was an 18-minute gap.
Right. I knew about the gap. I didn't know that was her.
Yeah. Yeah. Rosemary Woods, 18-minute gap.
Running cover for her boss, huh?
Yeah. So there you go.
All right. Well, AKs, ARs, or AOCs? I'm going to go with the AOC. Doesn't work, and you can't fire it.
You were just waiting for that, weren't you?
Yeah, I sure was.
All right, guys. Have a great week. We'll do it again next week because nobody can stop us.
Okay.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk After Show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out Gun Dealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk After Show.